Getting ready to start.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this agenda review meeting of the Nacogdoches Independent School District Board of Trustees. Let the record show that a quorum of members is present and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Board members, President Reverend James Rhythm is unable to attend the meeting today. I would like to remind everybody that all the items in the agenda today are for discussion only. No action will be taken at this meeting. Please join us in turning off your phones to silent mode. We have not received any requests to address the board as outlined in the meeting notice for public comment. That will move us to the consent agenda. We will first discuss items from the consent agenda. No action will be taken on these items. Does anybody have any comments or questions regarding board meetings? We'll go to item B, business office reports. Presenter Lisa Barber.
I had to think about, it's good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Vice President James Montoya, board members, Dr. Trujillo. So I would like to begin with our budget amendments, and we have quite a few this time. The first amendment is a request from BQJ just to transfer funds from their school leadership into their instructional materials to purchase classroom reading materials. Item B, this is budgeting funds donated for athletics, so we are increasing revenue as well as increasing the budget for athletics, $2,260. Item C, budget funds received for athletic facility use and associated expenses. Again, this is facility rentals for athletics. They receive revenue, so we are increasing revenue and then increasing the budgeted expense for the use of that athletic facility. Item D, budget funds received from insurance for flood damage to band instruments and to use towards the estimate to repair damage to the building. The amount needed for repairs exceeds insurance payments, so we're also pulling funds from other sources to cover the difference. So we are receiving $240,000 from the insurance company. We need $269,207 to make the repairs, so we're pulling $20,000 from curriculum staff development and function 11 instruction to cover the difference.
So our insurance doesn't cover 100% then?
No, it does not.
Unfortunately.
Item E, budget funds received for SHAR settlement and applied towards the payment due to MSB, consulting, and safety measure costs such as shatterproof window coverings mandated by the commissioner and to cover the cost of renovating the greenhouse. So we received, I estimate at the beginning of the year what I think we're going to receive, but we've received more. So that's why we're increasing revenue by $418,000. And the cost for their services is $97,679. So I'm increasing general administration budget to make that payment. $300,000 will go towards the safety measures that we have to do. And I just put an example of one of the things that.
So it covers more than one item under that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it should, yes. And then, as well as for the greenhouse, $21,000 in function 81. Item E, F. Transfer funds to pay for central kitchen HVAC replacement out of general fund, and it's cut off, but the rest is basically saying, instead of, so the central HVAC, central kitchen HVAC has been replaced, and we had brought it to you saying 50% from student nutrition and 50% from general fund. But to make it clean for accounting purposes, to be able to just pay for it out of general fund, I'm doing a swap of different, to make it even. So we are increasing 81 by $277,948, and decreasing food services $157,996. Function 11, $109,665. Function 23, school leadership, $5,287. And function 34, student transportation, reducing it by $5,000. Item G is the counterpart to this. Pull funds from student nutrition fund balance to pay for incentives and TRS on behalf for the same amount that would have been pulled for HVAC replacement. Pulling $179,809 from fund balance to put into function 35 to pay for those payroll type items. I hope that explained that little thing there. Item H, pull funds from fund balance to cover increase in food cost for student nutrition. And it got cut off, but it's to cover, as you know, everything's going up and food costs have increased tremendously. Luckily, as we know, she has that healthy fund balance, and so we are definitely bringing that down this year. So we're pulling $267,392. We are putting that into her food expense. She also has an increase in revenues for a grant she received, $117,392. So we're only pulling $150,000 from fund balance.
I just have a question regarding that. Now, I know you said the food is going up tremendously, obviously.
Yes.
Will we be able to manage that, or will it become difficult if the food gets higher where we have the funds? Will we have to increase the funds?
Yes, it will get more difficult. We're hoping that they will, to cover the cost. Well, actually, she is at a meeting with TDA this week to talk to them about how they can help school districts with this problem. Who knows what will come of that. But so we're hoping that, or we think school lunches will have to increase in price as well as the reimbursement we get from federal government for that. But yes, if nothing is done, it will become an issue.
Thank you.
Any other questions on budget amendments? All right, next I would like to move on to our donations under $2,500. On page 25, you'll find the detail for that. We received $500 for the District We Care Fund from East Texas Professional Credit Union. TJR received patriotic books for the library from the Nacogdoches County Republican Women. Nettie Marshall received $34.59 donation from Kroger for school activities, as well as several, it says a donation of time for Touch a Truck Career Day from Nacogdoches Fire Department, Nacogdoches Police Department, Nacogdoches Public Works, Nacogdoches Emergency Medical Services, Texas Highway Patrol, Herbert Fuentes, NISD Maintenance, NISD Transportation, and Early Crews. Carpenter received a $1,000 donation from Liberty Elm Chapter 210 for use by the entire school. And athletics received $362.50 for swim from the Nacogdoches Dragon Athletic Booster Club swim team. $653 for girls soccer from the Nacogdoches Dragons Soccer Booster Club, and $1,244 for girls basketball from the Nacogdoches Athletic Basketball Booster Club.
Ms. Lisa, I appreciate that you specifically say what Booster Club donated those money, because sometimes other programs, when they see these athletic programs, they assume somebody gets it, we don't get it. But when you say it specifically, it's very important. Thank you.
I also wanted to say something here. I was quite interested in a $1,000 donation to Carpenter that was no strings, just to help them. And that's Liberty Elm Chapter 2010. It's Axman Woodman of the World. And that's an insurance company. And they actually have a 3-story building downtown on the main red brick street that was built in the early 1900s by Rolfs, the architect. I thought, gee, that's really interesting how they're still putting stuff into the school district and helping our teachers and our children to do their best. So we can take help from anybody. You don't have to have a Rolf building.
All right, any other questions on the donations?
No other questions?
All right, I'd like to move on to the investment report, which is on page 27. We had to pull funds from some of our investments, as we often do, as cash flow changes. But we received in interest earnings between all of our investments, $241,278 for the past month. Any questions on investments? All right, and I'll take any other questions you have on all my other reports, if you have any.
The investments, we're getting some money back now, but the way the economy is going, do you think that's going to affect, like, us being able to get a really good interest rate on our money back, or
Well, it's benefiting us right now.
it's benefiting us right now?
Yes,
Is that-
because interest rates are high.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But once that goes down, then
Right,
Kind of bare
but
minimum.
right now, it does not, it looks like it will stay high. I mean, this actually is more normal than what it was previously
Really?
for all those years where it was low. Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Ms. Barber. And that will take us to our, I lost my place here, I'm sorry.
Miscellaneous.
Huh?
Miscellaneous business.
Miscellaneous, I'm sorry, miscellaneous office reports. You have any?
Right, I asked if anyone had questions.
And no one had, okay. That's my bad.
It's all right.
All right. Next, we'll go to purchases over 25,000. Did I boo-boo again?
No.
No? Okay, I'm all right. Okay. Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Vice President Montoya, members of the board, Dr. Trujillo. Administration has looked at purchasing 3 washers and dryers for the Nacogdoches High School 9th grade center to wash student athletes' uniforms and their workout gear. These washers and dryers will be used to wash both the girls and boys soccer uniforms and workout gear, boys and girls basketball, girls softball, boys and girls tennis, boys and girls swimming, and volleyball. The amount the administration is asking the board to approve is $57,400.25, and this purchase will be purchased out of ESSER funds. We'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Mr. Martin, is it in athletic field house or 9th grade building?
It's going to be in the 9th grade building, Coach. I made a mistake on my action sheet here.
Okay.
We'll get that changed out. It is going to be in the 9th grade building. I found out that in the field house, I believe we replaced some washers and dryers out there, I think somewhere around 2016.
Is Ralph here?
He is not, no, sir.
There used to be a lot of flooding in that facility, laundry facility. I wonder if it's fixed.
In the ninth grade, or?
Yes, ninth grade.
Mr. Curtis, would you have any knowledge? It is fixed?
Okay. Thank you.
Now, as I understand it, these are not old, they're antiquated.
They are antiquated, yes, sir, you're correct.
Yes, so, but they don't have the rub bar.
They don't.
I also see the warranty is only for 5 years, right?
Yes, sir, that's
But is
correct.
that just on some parts, or is that for the total,
Parts.
just parts?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, that will move us to our Skyline Equipment LLC. Presenter Michael Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Board. Dr. Trujillo, on page 70 of your board book, on March 9, 2023, the district accepted bid proposals for monthly fire alarm monitoring contract. We have attached the results of those bids for your reference. The administration is recommending to accept the bid from Universal Time for the amount of $49,163. This contract covers the monitoring of the fire alarm systems for 5 years. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
No questions? That will move us to Universal Time. Presenter Michael Martin.
That was universal.
Oh, that was presenter.
Yes, sir.
time.
Yeah.
I'm behind here this morning, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. No problem.
Okay, so the next one will be Solution Tree. Presenter Dr. Dana Hill. I'm on track now.
Perfect. Good afternoon, Vice President Montoya, board members, and Superintendent Trujillo. This is very large purchase of continued services with the vendor Solution Tree. We've been using them for the past couple of years. This year, you'll notice we've dropped the RTI at Work Academy, where we're just now asking for coaching dates for coaches to come in. The campuses would continue to use the exact coaches that they've used this year. And then on the second quote that you see is for something called Global PD, which is an online portal to where it's just on-demand pre-recorded videos, as well as some individual PD sessions. They've changed, they being Solution Tree, have changed the way they do their PD licensures to where you have to buy a site license now. The good news is that the entire campus will have access to it, not just one individual person. So that's a big change, but unfortunately, it comes with a big price.
Very good.
And we would use federal funds, specifically ESSER, to fund this.
Is this going to be now our third year?
Yes,
Okay, I thought so.
yes, ma'am.
And I want to take this opportunity to thank you almost a year ago in May when you brought the next year's of Solution Tree forward, and you shared how helpful this has been for teachers and stuff. And so, Dr. Trujillo, I would like for a request that maybe you look into having a report. I know Dr. Hill's great with data and surveys and stuff, but I think we and the public would appreciate hearing some specifics from the teachers because, you know, we throw RTI and we MT, you know, we throw all that around, and the public doesn't really know how this is helping teachers. And I think hearing a report on that might be beneficial.
Absolutely, we could put them
Help us
together.
swallow this prize.
Yeah. Well, and really, just to put some bookends on it so that they know, and we'll definitely look at putting a presentation with the community. The teacher's time is so valuable, and the administrator's time so valuable. We make a commitment with the professional learning communities, which what we do is we designate a period of the day where students aren't in the classroom, they're over in their specials, but teachers come together. They come together during the day. It's not after school, it's not before school. And when you look at the aggregate cost of every teacher given a PLC time to come together, we really need to work on what does that PLC look like? What outcome are we gaining from that PLC? Otherwise, it's just, years ago, I remember it was called teaming. If you'll remember that, years ago, they called it teaming. And so teachers would just come together and they'd team talk. Or you have your conference period. This is not that. So we would love to be able to come in and present that, the community sees it, but also, just so you'll know, the spotlight with what Solution Tree provides, and Dr. Hill can provide more information with regards to that, is what does the leadership do, how are they integrating that to make sure we're taking and doing our PLCs the best leverage that we can do to meet the needs of our students. And a lot of it now has changed. It's not just the academics, it's also dealing with what are we looking at to meet the emotional, psychological, all the things that go on in the classroom. So absolutely, Dr. Hill will get with the team and we'll put something together there so they can actually see what is the return on investment with regards to this particular investment we have.
I'm sure teachers would love to share
Yeah.
how this is beneficial.
Yeah.
Because they're giving up planning period time.
Oh, yeah.
Would that be for Thursday night or
Oh,
for
I
May?
don't-
No, this would be a future meeting.
Yeah.
A future meeting?
Yeah, there is
Perfect.
no way.
Okay, I was just- you didn't like-
I saw you sweating over there.
But it's okay, yeah, yeah. The other
I
thing,
wanted to coattail on this. I'm thinking analytically. There's a lot of computer programs track number of hits, number of uses by daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. That's something that would be easier to find, maybe, I don't know. But that's something that might, it won't give the total scope, but that might help make it the whole project more manageable, just to, well, do what you want, but hopefully there'll be some analytical stuff that makes it easier.
Yeah, and there's not going to be, because this is people to people. This is contact hours with it, and yeah, you get analytical data when you look at the lag reports. And lag reports would be star results and all of that. Lag reports they're outdated the minute you hit send and somebody receives it. So we'll be able to utilize some lead measures, some things that are real time, right then and there. And I use this as an example because in your vehicle, when you arrived today, you had lag data and you have lead data on your dash. For instance, you can look at it real quickly and say, my gas is here. But if your oil pressure light comes on, that's a lead measure. There's a problem right now. And that's what we can actually look at is the opportunities of some lead things that the teachers are able to do as we're launching and working with the leadership with this. So I wish it was as simple as some analytics. There might be some anecdotal information we might be able to pull, but I would be very hesitant to put just figures and numbers in front of you. It's the results of the human contact and the development. That's a lot of money to pay, and we've got people that are committing themselves to Nacogdoches ISD. And I love what we're doing because it's not one shot and one done. This is, we build on the skill set and as we're developing. And one of the things, I don't know if you heard it, but I wanted to make sure to highlight it. The value that is now is that Solution Tree sees that it was a very select group of people, but now what they're doing is they're broadening and saying, we want to impact not just the leadership, but we're going to impact the whole community of the school. And whereas it's targeted to a group of people, but the whole group will have a benefit. So we'll definitely put it on the docket to bring it to us. Dr. Roman, we will try to see if we can find some analytics for those of us that want numbers that way, so.
Just your answer helps me understand better that this is a continuous team building thing,
Correct.
that's mainly working on the cognitive and affective domains by the majority of the people using this program. So maybe we just need to hear more of the affective domain instead of the numbers.
Absolutely.
Dr. Hill, when it gets to technology, I'm too curved behind.
I understand.
However, do people have to log in? Or
Yes.
they-
For the Global PD, yes, sir, they will have a username and a password.
And that passing information, username for district, everybody can use the same?
Yes, for these 6 campuses that will have access to the portal.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
of course.
Anybody else have any other questions, comments? They'll take us to D on our consent agenda, resolution extending depository contract for funds of Independent School District. Presenter Lisa Barber.
Good afternoon again. So here is our first use of becoming a district of innovation. So it's time for us to extend our depository contract, so the district would be required to proceed with a bid or request for proposal to obtain a new depository contract in accordance with Texas Education Code 45.205 and 206. Since the district sought an exemption through the District of Innovation process to gain flexibility regarding the depository contract, administration is recommending the use of this flexibility to extend our current contract with Cadence Bank for another 2-year term.
So because we are becoming a district of innovation, there's no change in what they will be giving us or what we will be doing with them, right? Is that?
Right, our prices for their services will remain the same.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Barber. That'll take us to item E, TEACS certification for 2023-2024. Presenter Dr. Jolyn Corley.
Thank you, Vice President Montoya, board members, and Dr. Trujillo. I'm presenting the annual TEACS certification document that certifies with the State Board of Educators certification that students have access to instructional materials covering the Texas essential knowledge and skills. We do this annually. It's a submission that all districts across the state are required to do. We list our full subject and our supplemental instructional resources that shows and proves that we're in compliance with the Texas Education Code. After submission of this to the state, board approval and submission of this to the state, our instructional material allotment funds will be released. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment for the public. Well, the fact that we pretty much use everything the state says, like scope and sequence, we haven't come up with our own or anything like that, then this is pretty much a slam dunk once we put in the resources that we're using so that they can check it. But I just wanted to add, for the public, these TEACS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, if you're interested at all, this is a great way to know, parents especially who panic and go, what is being taught and is my child on grade level? If you have the NISD app, which is wonderful, and go to documents, then essential elements are these TEACS, and they are by subject and by grade level. So you have a third grader and you want to know how they're doing in reading and what they're supposed to, what they're going to be addressing and what they should be able to do. Look on that. It's really easy. Just wanted to throw that in.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very helpful.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. That'll take us to item F, federally funded contract services vendors. Presenter Dr. Dana Hill.
Thank you, Vice President Montoya, board members, Superintendent Trujillo. So this is on behalf of Student Support Services. So earlier this year, we brought forward a PT contract. That person is getting ready to go out on maternity leave, and so we need to supplement the services with another vendor. And so you'll see that on the subsequent page. I believe it's on page 120. And so her services would provide, get us through the end of the month as well as next month, and will extend to summer learning for some students who are requiring physical therapy.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Hill.
Thank you.
This will take us into our discussion under action, on the action agenda. We will now proceed with items from the discussion action portion of the agenda. A, first reading of revised local policy related to District of Innovation Plan. Presenter Michael Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Board, Dr. Trujillo. The board recalls voting in that the district would become a district of innovation. What we have done is we have changed the policies, the board policies to reflect those changes to becoming a district of innovation. We've also had our TASB representative take a look at these policies before we presented them to you today. And we are confident that these policies meet the needs of our district and our District of Innovation plan. We'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Board members, anybody have any questions, comments? We have the option of moving this item to the consent agenda. Anybody have concerns?
That's fine.
All right, okay. This now takes to B, consideration of Thomas J. Rusk Elementary Waterproofing Project. Presenter Michael Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Once again, on March 30th, 2023, the district accepted bid proposals for Thomas J. Rusk Waterproofing Project. The attached proposals were received through the TIPS bidding procedure. The administration is recommending that the board approve a bid from F.W. Walton for a total project cost of $189,421. We have Mr. James Roberts here from the Garland Company, should the board have any questions.
Board, does anybody have a question?
No question, however, it's overdue.
Vice President Montoya, it would serve the community well to hear. I know to put them on the spot. The reason I say this is because there is work being done at the old university building that is completely separate to what's happening at TJR. So for a point of clarity, even though we may not have questions, I do want to make sure the community can hear exactly what this is, because that building is of tremendous value to this community. Matter of fact, I had a brief visit with him, and he said it was a beautiful building. So you kind of get an idea as to what this board is investing in when it comes to TJR, and it's a very valuable building. So I would invite him to come up to kind of give y'all a quick overview.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Over at TJR back in May of last year, Ralph had sent me out there to take a look at it, and the sealants were failing. Sealants are important to your buildings because all the money that you invest into your HVAC, if the sealants aren't maintained, the air and moisture will escape or be sucked in through those. It also helps with your air quality, which I've heard you mention ESSER several times. You're paying attention to those things. So, yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful building, worthy of being taken care of. You're going to get some new exterior doors on the backside as well with this with these funds. So we're excited to be partnering with you.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Are there any objections to moving this item to the consent agenda?
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. That brings us to item C, consideration of NHS Band Hall Repair Project. Presenter Michael Martin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board. On December 23rd, 2022, the Nacogdoches High School Band Hall flooded due to an HVAC unit over the band hall freezing, causing water damage that needed to be repaired. In addition to the restoration, asbestos was discovered. Below is an itemized cost for the abatement and the repair. So we have broke all this out for you, board, to take a look at. What we are asking for these repairs is the difference that the insurance did not pay. If you take a look on page one, I think it's 161, we broke it down in a table. The SurfPro estimate was $366,148.88. The insurance proposes to pay $149,627.87. So that brings us with a difference of $216,521.01. Also came, once they got in there and started trying to repair, as I mentioned earlier, discovered some asbestos. We had to address that. Then the HVAC repair, and we put $24,000 worth of contingency into this project. So the administration is requesting that the board approve $269,206.01 from the general fund to complete the project of the flooding of the band hall in Nacogdoches High School. Be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
I'm just, my question would be is, when they're doing that, doing the whole thing, they're also looking for mold and mildew, right?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
considered
sir.
part of the asbestos abatement? Okay. All right, thank you.
Just curiosity, is a band is not able to do their normal practices, do they?
Yes, sir, I think we've worked around, in fact, for the most part, I think a lot of the tear out and the cleanup was done when our kids got back to school. So they were still able to use the band hall, yes, sir.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. My understanding is one of the biggest losses was our music library, which is really important. But the other thing I wanted to mention is ServPro is of highest quality and reputation, and their owners, Brad and Jalen Hemick, have a heart for NISD, and it goes way back. It's interesting, I went back through some of their stuff, and we've selected them as outstanding in different areas, and they've helped us with convocations going back into the mid-teens. And they really do a lot with Carpenter and Reggae. They're real active at Reggae, and Patrick and Candace are two of the head people. And so we appreciate everybody. And I was going through the check register and seeing all the local businesses, and whether they're tires or motors or whatever they do, we are trying to take our money and put into them, and they are investing back in us. And so we do appreciate this relationship that we continually build, and we have complete confidence in the detailed nature of every little detail to get this better than before. So we do invest our money not to get it what it was, but better than it was. And so I think that's a really good thing, because we have such a strong band program. And hopefully this will all be done without the students be around. So they'll come back and it'll be like, didn't happen, it's better now.
Thank you, Dr. Gorman. I'm glad you brought that up. Part of the difference in the cost here is that we are going back with better products than what we are tearing out, so such as the flooring, things of that nature. So we are going back with superior products than what we're tearing out.
Any other questions or comments?
Vice President Montoya and Board, just so you're aware, to speak to the safety and the value that these folks bring. Our folks that are here, tremendous work. We should not have found asbestos. It's just, logically, you look at the building, it's well beyond the date of concern, the red flags are there. So for the contractors and everybody who's there, safety is paramount. So just for the community to know, anytime we do any work, we can't just gauge it on, was it prior to the year that asbestos was being used, because you still have that use that comes out. So I commend our team for that work, be able to find it, identify it, and be able to address it for the safety of our kids. Our kids are safe. If folks are concerned about the abatement, it's basically an adhesive that's there. We are not going to mess with that in any shape or form. We're still using a band hall. The minute that they do become intrusive and start removing that, it's going to look like ET is there, ET phone home. It'll be wrapped up, it'll be bubbled up, the kids won't have access. So I just want to make sure the community knows that there are going to be some safety measures. This is not their first rodeo. Okay, they know what to do when it comes to this work, and I commend the team for not just looking at a year in the calendar and say they shouldn't have asbestos. Now, their eyes did wonder, why in the heck do we have asbestos? So we are going to do it and fix it right. And to Mr. Martin's point, it is of the greatest quality that's going to go back in there, so it'll benefit our kids for years to come. So wanted to make sure to commend our team for having a sharp eye and keeping our kids safe and looking at everything. So thank you to out there and the rest of the team for that.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Regarding Item C, are there any objections to moving this item to the consent agenda?
Go ahead.
You're gonna make it Thursday meeting quick, aren't you? It's,
Trying to take my time, I'm old, but This brings us to, the board will now conduct an executive closed session to discuss items posted on our agenda pursuant to the following provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act and allowed by Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.129. No voting will take place during the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussion in closed session will take place after the board convenes in open session. It is now 12:39. We will be back no later than 1:30?
1:30.
1:30. All right, we ready? The board now is reconvening into open session. It is now 1:45. Are there any requests for future agenda items by any of the board members?
No, sir.
No? If not, we need a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.